Their keyboardist tragically died of an overdose while on tour with the Smashing Pumpkins.
The Smashing Pumpkins, who 7 weeks ago lost their keyboardist Jonathan Melvoin to a fatal drug overdose.
The vocalist, notorious for siphoning gas from Kurt Cobain's Dodge Dart, was gunned down in the streets of Reseda.
If you listen closely, you can hear what appears to be the shooting victim crying out in pain.
Oh my God!
That's him right there.
Oh my God!
One of the guitarists died of AIDS, while their drummer was one of the founders of Bad Religion. This is Electric Peace, a band whose music is as wild as their members.
Well, I was pretty big when I was in jail. They had to give me my own cell. Now no one ever would mess with me. Even the gods would.
Brian Kild, who played bass, was the band's mastermind and lead vocalist. He was friends with El Duce and other LA punk bands in the 80s, part of the movement opposing the growing influence of glam rock. Little is known about Brian Kild, much like the band itself. With Electric Peace, he played shows with acts like The Mentors, The Cramps, and The Meteors. In the early 80s, he reportedly had a falling out with producer Kim Foley, after Brian's girlfriend ran away to Foley's house. After the band broke up in '89, Brian allegedly went to prison for robbery. Some sources also claim he became a car mechanic. According to the biography, Brian had a habit of stealing gas from parked cars in the Hollywood Hills, including Kurt Cobain's Dodge Dart. In '92, Kurt rented a house just a few doors up from where Brian lived. Brian claimed that several times he siphoned gas from the parking lot down the hill, where both of them left their cars. He also claimed he often heard Kurt yelling at him from the house, to which he'd reply that Kurt's car looked like it was owned by a junkie and to shut the fuck up. Kurt Cobain recorded In Utero in that house before moving on, with well-known results. In '94, Brian Kild was arrested for robbery and served time in a correctional facility, where he crossed paths with Rick James. After meeting Brian, the music star told him that once he was released, he'd either end up back in prison or dead. The next time the public heard about Brian was in 2014, after he was shot on the street, allegedly due to a dispute over a car repair. He was hit in the leg and arm with one bullet, missing his femoral artery by just 1 millimeter.
That's right, and let's begin with the news that the officer who was injured in this case has been treated and released from the hospital. And we have found a witness in this case who says he believes he was able to capture on his cell phone the man who's believed to be responsible for the shooting.
That's the shooter right there.
According to a witness who shot this cell phone video, the suspected gunman can be seen walking with his dog moments after he shot and wounded a man on Yolanda Boulevard. If you listen closely, you can hear what appears to be the shooting victim crying out in pain.
Oh my God!
That's him right there.
Oh my God!
The cell phone video captures the victim, who was shot once in the arm and once in the leg, according to police.
The guy says, I don't want to die.
Jose Quinones says he heard 4 shots and came running across the street to see the gunman with a gun in one hand and the leash to his dog in the other, while the wounded man pleaded for his life.
The guy's on the floor. Help me, I don't want to die. Yeah, I see the shooter. And the dog, white dog, is walking like a gun. Dog and the gun walking in the street.
Police say when they arrived at around 9:30, they discovered the gunshot victim and were directed to the suspected gunman, who was walking about a block away. Police say after they spotted the suspect, he opened fire on their vehicle. One officer was injured, either grazed by a bullet or hit by flying glass. His injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. Police say the gunman then put the gun down and was taken into custody. We should also point out we do not know the condition of the man who was shot and wounded, but officers at the scene tell us they believe his injuries are not life-threatening. Live in Northridge, I'm Randy Page, KCAL 9 News.
The shooter, identified as Cliff Gershowitz, was later sentenced to 49 years in prison.
Don't you worry, there's a reason for all you do.
The only known biography of Electric Peace claims the band was formed in Reseda, Los Angeles, adopting a garage punk rock sound heavily influenced by the psychedelic and heavy music of the 60s. They even appeared on a VHS tape alongside other art punk bands like Killer Banana. Electric Peace's debut record, Rest in Peace, was released by Enigma Records in '85 and was described as psych garage. In 1987, they released Medieval Mosquito. Followed by the cult album Insecticide 1 year later. Road to Peace was their final album, released in '89. Considered an enigmatic force in punk rock, much of their story is shrouded in mystery, violence, and death.
Still, Jonathan Melvoin, the veteran keyboardist touring with Smashing Pumpkins, definitely is dead.
Melvoin's death led the Pumpkins to fire their drummer Jimmy Chamberlin, who had been in rehab before and who was arrested for heroin possession at the scene of Melvoin's death in New York City.
There were 2 overdoses prior to this particular overdose. The first one involved Jimmy and the second one involved both of them.
We actually did fire Jonathan. We did fire him. He was fired for about a month. He was just going to finish up the end of the tour.
The end of the Europe tour.
Yeah, the one leg of the tour. And he was a sweet, sweet man, really wonderful person.
Jonathan Melvoin was one of the tragic figures connected to Electric Peace. He played with the band in a few shows before drumming for the Dickies, just before joining the ill-fated Smashing Pumpkins tour. His family notably did not invite Billy Corgan to his funeral.
This is loneliness and loneliness is cleanliness and cleanliness is godliness and God is empty. Just like
We're proud of him.
6 years earlier, the band was struck by tragedy with the death of their lead guitarist, Greg Welsh, presumably from AIDS. There's a photo of a tombstone circulating online, but its authenticity hasn't been verified. Brian Kild, who is responsible for sharing that photo, has publicly stated that Greg wasn't gay. As Greg's health declined, he was replaced by Honey Davis, a well-known figure in the LA punk scene of the 80s, and a close friend of the Mentors.
And here we are, the world-famous Honey Davis Band, and let's hear it for 'em! Yay!
Everyone is giving just so much time to stuff. If I had 1,000 years, there still wouldn't be enough.
Honey, considered a guitar virtuoso, had already opened for Van Morrison at the age of 15. In recent years, he has been known for street performing and even teaching guitar at Venice Beach. before touring worldwide to play blues in festivals and even small pubs.
I'm gonna end up and die alone.
He continues to work as a professional guitarist to this day.
Something's been eating my bananas, it's not very nice. And I can hear him in the walls, it's bigger than mice.
Jay-Z Scrout was the original drummer for Electric Peace, recording on their debut album, Rest in Peace. Before that, he co-founded Bad Religion and later worked for Epitaph Europe. In the late 90s, he launched his own label, Grita, which became a pivotal force in promoting Latin punk bands such as Todos Tus Muertos,
Tengo que ver al doctor que me diga, mi amor, ¿dónde queda tu primo? Hoy quiero ver la luna como se posa sobre tu balcón.
Blind Pigs,
Feels like boga, vera de 90, essa é a natureza, punk rock brasileira. A palavra do PT, o limite já chegou, agora eu quero ver nada mais que quatro.
and La Pola Records. He also released one of the most unconventional compilations in ska history.
Look what's going down.
It's worth noting that Electric Peace also featured drummer Rick Winward and keyboardist Jim Hawkinson in their lineup.
Don't you worry, there's a reason for all you do. I'll stand behind you and guide you, 'cause this but for you. Don't you worry, there's a reason for all